You ready? Okay.
Ready, steady, go.
Go. Ready, steady, go. Welcome to The Other Side of the Page, a bookish podcast where we yap about the books we love
and the songs that give us main character energy.
We're here to sift through the chaos that is our TBR.
And to let you know why a book might just be your next favorite read.
I'm Britt, dramatic plot twist lover and champion for MMCs needing to be more pathetic and down bad.
And I'm Hannah, reader of at least 5 books at once and a detailed fantasy map enthusiast.
Every Wednesday, press play on a brand new bookish episode.
Stay up to date with the books we will be following. Stay up to date with the books we will be covering by following us on social media at Other Side of the Page Pod over on TikTok, Instagram, and Threads.
And don't forget to follow, rate, and review the podcast a shining 5 stars on your preferred platform because it helps us so much with visibility.
Yes. And this week we are ready to be terrified, paranoid, all of the above, by The Caretaker by Marcus Kliewer.
Yes, we're going to be talking about our song choices alongside the plot, chatting about our favorite moments. So go ahead and grab yourself an iced coffee.
Or iced chai.
And let's turn the page together.
Or today we actually have our Alani's.
We
not
do.
Sponsored, but sponsor us.
Not sponsored, but hi. And there are minis, which is fresh.
All right. Dear reader, here is the synopsis of The Caretaker. Exciting opportunity. Caretaker urgently needed. 3 days of work, competitive pay, serious applicants only. Macy Mullins can't say why the job posting grabbed her attention. It had all the pull of a fisherman's lure, barbed hook and all, vaguely ominous. But after an endless string of failed job interviews, she's not exactly in the position to be picky. She has rent to pay, groceries to buy, and a younger sister to provide for. Besides, it's only 3 days' work. 3 days cooped up in a stranger's house surrounded by Oregon coast wilderness. What starts as a peculiar side gig soon becomes a waking nightmare. An incomprehensible evil may dwell on this property, and Macy Mullins might just be the only thing standing between it and the rest of humanity. Follow the rights. Follow the rights. Follow the rights. And some Morse code here. And we think you should read this book if you want an unsettling horror novel where you are yelling at the main character, what the hell? Like, what are you doing? And questioning your own sanity throughout the entire book.
100%. And now, this is our second Marcus Kliewer book. If you guys know, we're going to talk about it as well. We Used to Live Here is one of mine and Hannah's favorite books in existence, right? We both love it. And now, having read 2 of them, I'm going to tell you that you should avoid this book if you are not okay with stories being open-ended and leaving questions to the reader. There is a lot left open for interpretation. And if that's not your vibe, that is totally fine. But I'm telling you, I don't think that you'll like his books because of that. Mm-hmm. And also, some of these things might be potentially triggering for you, so keep an eye out. So death of a parent, suicidal thoughts, death, suicide attempt, animal death, vomit, reassurance rituals. There's discussions of mental health and also OCD and compulsions in here as well. So just keep that in mind. And also, the topic of suicide can be heavy in any book. In this one in particular, it does heavily touch on that. So again, if that is triggering for you, please skip that one. And if you or someone you know needs help, please call 998 24/7. You are not alone. You are loved, and you deserve to be here.
Yes. All right. Our song choices.
Yes.
These are both, I feel like, very different song choices than our normal vibes, but it works. I picked Beware of the Darkness by George Harrison.
I don't know if I know that song.
I didn't until recently.
I love that. And I picked a song from one of my besties' favorite bands. Sam is obsessed with I Prevail, and I picked Paranoid, and I think it fits Macy so well. All right. So now, we're diving into the book. We're going to head into our Pages Turned to Bridges Burned section. We are going to be covering all things cover to cover in The Caretaker. It did just come out, so if you have not read it yet, that's totally fine. Pause the podcast, come back once you have. Also, this cover, if you guys are watching on YouTube, I'm actually obsessed with it. I love the cover so much. So we're going to start by talking about our theme lyric and why we picked the songs, and then we'll dive into the plot of the book.
Yes. So my theme lyric is, watch out now, take care. Beware of the thoughts that linger, winding up inside your head, the hopelessness around you in the dead of night.
Oh.
And I just feel like
that's
that lyric is like a good vibe there because it's, Macy has to watch out for the house, right? And take care and just follow these rites if you want to take care of the world, right? To save humanity. but also beware of the thoughts that linger, because for reassurance and OCD, like, you just have these thoughts that are just constantly going through your head. So
Yeah.
just be aware of them,
Mhm.
like winding up inside your head, and that the hopelessness around you in the dead of night. Like, she's alone in this house,
Yeah.
and like what's happening. So I feel like there's some
Yeah.
more lyrics too later. I'll tie in, and
Yeah.
it's a good vibe.
No, I love that.
I mean,
And
the
I ended
song
up
is,
picking, go
I
ahead.
don't know, a good vibe, but
It's a vibe
it's
for the book, at
appropriate
least.
vibe for the book.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I ended up picking this lyric. It's like a little chunk and is it all inside my head? I just can't escape the noise. Is it all inside my head? I think I'm paranoid. And the paranoia really seeps in pretty early on for her when she's, taking care of this caretaker role. But because of her compulsions and because of the things that she does, she really questions her reality probably more than a normal person would. And I think
Mm-hmm.
that added a lot of depth to it. And so when I heard this song, I was like, oh, this is an immediate yes, this is definitely going to be picked for it. Yeah, but like we said, this was one of our most anticipated books for 2026 because we again cannot shut up about We Used to Live Here. And we actually just re-released our episode on We Used to Live Here last week in order to prepare for this one. So, needless to say, we were so hyped about this book.
Yes. I've been sitting on the arc of this book for months. Did I read it last year? I think I might have
I
read it
think you
last
read
year.
it December.
Yeah. So I've been dying for Britt to read it. So I'm so glad we get to talk about it now. But all right. So let's meet our FMC, Macy Mullins. She is down on her luck, no job, living in a repurposed motel with her sister. And she's like desperate for any job because they're going to be evicted soon. Like, they need to figure it out. So she answers the job ad off Craigslist for the caretaker position. No, does she have experience? Not really, but she's desperate. So our girl Macy takes the bus to the interview, and she meets Grace, the woman in the house. And Grace admits that her husband died, but she needs someone to take care of the house while she is on vacation. He's just like, okay.
Yeah.
But there's rites that must be followed to maintain order.
Yep.
So the book opens actually from the husband's perspective, which I
Yes.
think is really cool.
Yep.
Macy accepts the job because who can turn down $9,000 when you're
For
desperate? Like
3 days of work.
And did we mention that she's desperate?
Because I believe she's desperate.
She's pretty desperate.
Yeah.
So Grace gives her like this VHS tape and is like, you need to watch it. Like, watch it alone. And Grace like pays for her Uber home, and
Yep.
like Macy gets back to their hotel and everything, and she's responsible for her 17-year-old sister because her dad passed away 2 years ago. They have no money. There's no life insurance payout, but they're still hopeful for it.
Yeah.
2 years later.
And like their conditions are so bad that like Macy's version of luxury is a abridged kind of like patio with a rickety pink plastic chair that like sags under her weight because it is barely holding together from like the Dollar Tree sort of vibe. And when she said like that is her like comfort spot, like that's when you kind of knew she has nothing, They end up pulling out this old VHS player. They watch the video together, even though Grace tells Macy to watch it alone, but they live in a studio. So, like, where was Gemma to go? Where was this girl to go? But this tape was bananas. This was bananas. So, it is David, which is Grace's late husband, explaining what to do to maintain the world not falling apart, which is really interesting because, like Hannah said, the book opens in David's perspective, and we watch him go through the ritual of a rite and how he has to take care of it. And it is deeply unsettling, but also you have no idea what the fuck is happening. So you're kind of like witnessing something, but it's not right, but you don't know like what's going on. And I thought it was a really, really cool like opening to the book itself.
Mm-hmm. So like some of the rites, the main things is like between the hours of 3 and 4 a.m., the lights all must be off. If they turn on, you have 4 minutes to turn them off. Mm-hmm. And then he goes over something about rabbits and visitors, and the color of the rabbits means certain things, and the visitors will come and they have piercing blue eyes. And he gives them like her pretty clear instructions on what to do, but it's all just like very odd.
Yes.
And Gemma, her sister, is like, you're not taking this job, right? But Macy's already spent her $3,000 advance and they need the money because they're desperate, remember?
Yeah, and Grace wired her the money. Like she said, I'm going to give you a third now, a third here. You'll get the third when it's done. Like it was a in good faith sort of thing. But also, should we perhaps be concerned if someone is wire transferring you $3,000 immediately to do 3 days worth of work? I maybe, and again, I know she's desperate, That's our
Yeah.
word of the episode, but
So let's rewind and let's talk about the opening of the book for a little bit.
yes.
So David is narrating and he's
Yep.
following the footsteps of a visitor. And the visitor has taken the form of his son. And we can assume that his son dies by suicide and like David blames himself for it.
Yeah.
And like we see David trying to calm down the visitor, but the visitor like turns on David.
Yeah.
And David rushes back to the house and then we leave his story. So that's like all we get of David, which I think is kind of a wild opening.
And he did talk about the eyes in the opening as well. And so like the eyes were not right. And so we have that tie-in for when Macy ends up being the caretaker here. And now we also find out too that once you decide to become the caretaker of the house, there's no backing out. You're not allowed to back out. You can't go back. So long story short, she kind of survived. Macy is fucked. Macy is fucked.
So the first night that she's there, she has trouble sleeping. So she like stays awake till 3 a.m., but then dozes off. And thankfully she set an alarm.
Yes.
So at first the witching hour doesn't seem too intimidating. Like she has a routine to kind of like go check all the rooms and make sure the lights don't stay on for too long. Then she gets distracted by like a garbage bag on the floor after the light turns on and like zones out and then turns off the light. And then she freaks out that she waited too long, pulls up the cameras, and she was 7 seconds too late.
Yep. And now
So she's already failed the first night.
And so Grace gave her a tour before, she left. And Grace was like, I never need these envelopes. I never have to open these envelopes. And also like, there's nothing wrong with the house. My husband like just didn't want to hire an electrician. The wiring is so shoddy. Like, don't even worry about it. Again, you're not going to need it. You just have to follow these rules like exactly. And then if you don't, then I guess you can open it. So David and Grace left 3 envelopes in case you failed to write. And so she did. One for the lights, one for the rabbits, which we'll talk about, and then one for emergencies. So she goes down to the letter and opens the one for lights, and it's blank.
Or is it? She holds it up and it says foyer. So she goes into the foyer and nothing. Then words appear. And it says something about a moderate setback in her life. Mm-hmm. Which happens. The next day, her father's attorney calls and says that the reason her father's death is so questionable, or that her father's death is questionable, so they are most likely denying the claim. And they believe that her dad purposely drove off the bridge because he also had another attempt on taking his life before the girls were born, and because his company had gone under like the week prior, so like he was like devastated for that.
Yep.
Macy was unaware of this attempt, though she has wondered like in the back of her mind if it was possible.
Mm-hmm. And then Macy steps into, I can't remember if it was called alternate self. It was another word for it. This is what I added in. You had highlighted this spot, and
thank you.
I heard it on audio because I was like, let me pull up the thing. And I said, oh, I literally just heard this part. But Macy steps into something like some version of like her alternate self. Essentially, she's saying that other Macy can deal with it because the Macy here in this body in this plane doesn't need it. She doesn't need to know these things are happening. It doesn't exist. It's for other Macy to deal with until there is a bunny, which the bunnies are also part of the rite. And she doesn't catch it in time. So there's a bunny and she doesn't catch it in time, which is another rite that we haven't talked about yet.
Yeah. This book triggered my OCD bad. Mm-hmm. But like I couldn't look away. Yeah. Like especially the reassurance part because like I check my door locks multiple times at night, like no matter what. And like other routines, which like similar to the rites. And I'm like, oh my gosh, what is going on?
Yeah. But before we get into like the next part too, I thought this was interesting. We read another book where there was OCD representation, and that was actually Phantasma by Kaylee Smith. And I thought that the compulsions were quite interesting because they were similar in very different ways. And I thought both of them were written pretty like fairly well. And I know Kaylee's was from personal experience, and I know there was like a note about it in here with, everything that it's dealt with. But I think that the idea that the compulsions in your head are almost scarier than like actual horrifying things happening around you is a very interesting type of horror to play with. And I really, really enjoyed it in both iterations.
Yeah, I agree. So she doesn't catch the bunny. So she opens up the bunny letter and it talks about if you don't catch it in time, you have to burn it.
Yeah.
And I was like, hell no.
Burn it alive. Alive.
Yes, burn it alive. Yeah. Side note, I'm thankful that she didn't do this ever.
Yeah, me too.
Like I was questioning if she was actually going to.
She got close. She got close. There was one time she got close and her phone started ringing and it caused a kerfuffle. with this
Yes.
demonic bunny.
And the next day, Macy's like, I need to get the fuck out of here. Like,
Yep.
calls an Uber, tries to leave, but has like a nagging feeling she should go back. So she does.
Yep.
Because remember, once you become the caretaker, like, you don't really have a choice.
Yeah.
You were tied to this house. There's also an old phone in the house that if it rings, she must do exactly as they say.
Yes.
So they call. And Macy says that someone came to the door, but she couldn't tell what color their eyes were or what they wanted.
Yep.
And
And
so
there's like in the instructions, it's like, if someone comes to the door, we're not letting them in. Do not let them use your phone. Like, if they have piercing blue eyes, no, absolutely not. But regardless, I wouldn't let a fucking soul into this place.
no.
Period. So, but they tell her that at exactly midnight, she must follow the footsteps and calm the person down and make sure they don't leave the property. So she does that, except she can't calm Lucy down. She can't. And then a horrifying horde of people in yellow rain ponchos are running toward the house. And we got an iteration of this in the opening chapter from David's perspective as well.
Yep. So this was giving me Us vibes.
Yes.
Have you seen Us? You know,
I
with the red
have.
jumpsuits and
Yep.
just like the chaos.
Yep.
But also, I picture them running like people, like the people in Weapons. I know you haven't seen Weapons, but I don't know if you've seen the run where they like kind of have their arms back.
Interesting.
And
I got like the Get Out run where he was just like on
similar,
loop,
yeah.
where it was just like a straight shot, like that. That was the kind of vibe that I was thinking.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I was just thinking Weapons are like,
Yeah.
But she doesn't make it back in time to beat the visitor back into the house.
Yep.
And so the visitor is in the house and like shut in a room.
Mm-hmm.
And all the other visitors are like lined up in a circle around the property.
Yeah. Which is, again, horrifying.
Yes. So the phone rings and she's given more instructions with lights and picture frames and how to deal with the visitor.
Mm-hmm.
And this visitor pretends to be her sister and tries to rile Macy up by having like an asthma attack and like, you know, like really trying to play into her senses, which was stressing me out.
I was
because
so
I'm like,
stressed.
I'm like, what if it is her?
What if it is her?
her?
And that's what I love about his books. And I know we've only read 2 by him, but there's, you know how you just like connect with an author and their vibe?
Mm-hmm.
It reminded me so much, and minor, I'm not even going to go into detail, but it reminded me of a lot of what happened with Charlie in We Used to Live Here. And especially toward the end with like the ants, and like we weren't sure like what was right from wrong, what was real from not real.
Yeah.
And it gave me this like visceral reaction. And when Gemma is fake Gemma is having this like asthma attack,
visitor Gemma,
visitor Gemma, this ends up bringing up repressed memories of Macy right after her father's death, and she actually tried to die by suicide herself. And she had that moment. And again, we will not go into detail, but I agree, Hannah. Hannah has a little note here that she thinks that this is why, if you guys have read this, of course, the garbage bag put her in the trance earlier. And I completely agree. And now the repressed memories kind of come up in a way that you can't tell if it's like her reliving them, the visitor telling her about them. It's happening in her head. It's happening in real life. It's a vision. It's, you don't know. And this is what I love about these books, because it is so deeply unsettling, and everyone can have a different experience reading it and have different interpretations of what they think is happening. And yeah, this is just, it was bonkers, this whole scene with visitor Gemma.
Yeah. And so the visitor is out and Macy's running, goes into the basement where she hasn't been in yet.
Yep.
And like she slices the visitor, escapes, blah, blah, blah. And Macy's like, okay, what's going on?
Yeah, like what's happening? And also Grace told her to only go in the basement if absolutely necessary. She told her to not go down there unless she needed to. So this is a place that she ran to and knew that she shouldn't, but like had nowhere else to go.
Yeah. And it also happens to be her late father's birthday when she's at this house. Like Britt said, we do get glimpses of Macy's past throughout the book. And like, she was the odd one out as a kid. She was depressed. She worked with her dad mowing lawns. And there's a lot of like red, blue, like lights and like talk of those colors a lot.
Yep. Which
and
I know it was like to me it was just like the police sirens and like the like her having like it like put her in a trance like state with it.
Yeah.
But I also wondered about color because in We Used to Live Here we had some theories about how color tied in. And so
Yeah.
here specifically red, blue, and yellow for like the yellow
Mm-hmm.
ponchos and the piercing blue eyes. I don't really have many theories yet because I think I need to read this again in order to
Yeah.
like sit down with it, but absolutely nuts.
Then another visitor shows up, taking the form of her father.
Yeah.
But the eyes are blue, so she like knows it's a visitor.
Yep.
And you're like not really supposed to let the visitor see you.
Yeah.
But he like spots her through the window and tries to, and she rushes around to make sure all the doors were locked. And I was like freaking out, like, is she going to make it to the back door in time? And she thinks he gets in and goes to hide in the basement.
Yep.
And there's like a looming TV cart down there.
Yep.
And she watches what plays. And it's David looking frantic, saying the visitor will take on somebody you love and you have to kill them.
Yes. Now that got me thinking. Do we think Grace is a real person? Or do we
Or if she
think
was a visitor.
if she was a visitor and he killed the real Grace in a like a hallucinatory moment? Because I was sitting there and I went, kill someone you love. I'm guessing he killed both his son and Grace in this like nightmare scenario. So
Yeah.
it was just one of those thoughts that I was like, that made me wonder if it was.
Or maybe Grace killed David. And that's why she had to like leave because she was like so distraught about
that. Could be. I was wondering about that and I thought,
yeah, I didn't think about that. I like that.
Yeah.
Theory. So somebody comes down to the basement. Yeah. And Macy's prepared to attack.
Yep.
But is it Gemma? She can't confirm the color of the eye color because of her glasses.
Yep.
And then she kills the visitor.
Yes.
But is it really Gemma because the eyes are hazel?
Okay, so again, Macy's in the basement just watched this like crazy video about David saying you have to kill the people you love. Gemma shows up and she kills her, but her eyes are hazel, not blue. What did you think?
I just remember like sitting there for a second and being like, holy shit.
Yeah.
Like I mean, I thought she killed her for sure.
I definitely thought she killed her. But then we have this is the just like the Charlie situation.
Yep. So Macy goes upstairs and starts walking to the lookout. And we did skip a lot in this. Like if you read it, you're like, oh, what about this? What about this?
Yes. I'm gonna try and find the name of it real quick because I completely forgot.
Like at this property, there's like roped off lines, but just right past the property line is like a lookout area, but it's a place where a lot of desperate people go to like end their lives.
Windfall Bluff, but they call it Weeping Hag's Cliff.
So that's like right by this place. So she's up there and she gets a call from Gemma.
Yep.
So she isn't dead.
Yep.
And Gemma is freaking out saying she's on the way and she's like already called 911.
Yeah.
And a breath of relief hits Macy as the sun rises and it's shining a normal color.
Yep.
Because if you fail all the rites,
yep,
the sun is going to come up and turn red. And that means like the world is over.
Correct.
And so we're like, everything's all good.
Yep.
Macy stops talking and lets the phone drop when the sun turns red.
Yep.
Which means nothing good.
Nope.
And that's how it ends.
And that's how it ends. So listen, like you said, we skipped a lot, but like we did our high level, like this is what happens in the book. This was so creepy. And like creepy in like I was not necessarily like scared of like, I don't know how to explain it. I was deeply unsettled. I was not like horrified.
Yeah. Did you see the movie Knock at the Cabin?
I don't think so.
That's what it kind of reminded me of.
Yeah.
In certain ways. And like, I remember I was like scared to watch that movie because I thought it was going to be like super like scary. And my husband was like, no, you're going to like it. And it like is similar to vibes to this.
Yes.
Like in a different vein. But but what do you think about like, because the refuge is like what the house is called.
Yep.
Do you think it was made up? Do you think the rites were necessary to keep everything at bay? Like, so what do you think the tie-in is there?
I think the tie-in, my thought was it exacerbates people that have mental health disorders and pushes them to the brink of suicide naturally by having them question everything in the reality. Because Grace, if we disregard the theory that I said that I think Grace might not be real, might be a visitor. And Grace said David would be talking to people that weren't there, and David would be
Mm-hmm.
answering the phone that never rang, and she would pick up the other line and he would be responding to air, to nothing. But it's clear that David thought he was seeing things, and obviously
Mm-hmm.
Macy is also seeing things. So I don't believe that the world was ending. I don't believe that if you didn't finish the rites, the world was ending. But I believe that it exacerbated someone's mental health disorder so bad that they thought the world was ending, so they would just take care of themselves and spill over. And it makes me wonder if something happened to David's son
Mm-hmm.
that was similar that he didn't tell them about, and then David by proxy became that next person. But that's kind of my thoughts there. And I want to believe that she didn't kill Gemma, but I have a sick feeling that she did.
I know the eyes thing just
I know.
so yeah, no, I
What do you
think
think?
what you said is pretty on point. Like it just, I mean, to me, I'm like the world is ending because
Yeah.
she didn't do all this stuff, right? But
Yeah.
that's like my own mental health, like kind of sinking through.
Yeah.
But I think that's why I like this one. Like it was a shorter read and just very
Yes.
unsettling feeling the whole time through.
Yes. And like I have a couple of lyrics too. Like I have the song starts out by saying something isn't right. I feel it in my bones. Every time I look around, it follows me home. I think I'm paranoid. And when she's like on the property line and she has to get home and these visitors are showing up and she's trying to get back, like that is just full paranoia because she's like, this can't be real. This isn't happening. But also, I'm experiencing these things
Mm-hmm.
consistently. Like, what's going on? But also, I think this relates to her OCD specifically, where she has these compulsions that are telling her, like, you need to get up, you need to go check this, you need to go check this because the world's
Mm-hmm.
going to end if you don't check this. And I think that I wonder if there's like a something compulsory about like the supernatural forces that were there. And I really, really like that. But I also had the lines too. I get so stressed out with nobody here to listen when my head gets loud from the weight of the vision. All this emptiness inside, I can't fill the void in my mind. Sometimes I just want to die. Wish I could tell you why, which I think relates very deeply to her attempt to die by suicide. That
Mm-hmm.
again, we didn't go into details of, but if you read the book, you know exactly what we're talking about. It was a very like that scene. I was like, oh God, that's
Yeah.
yeah. And even too, like something isn't right, think they start to notice, hear it in the night, in and out of focus. This song just like I just saw this, I heard the song, I saw the lyrics, and I said, this is the absolute vibe of
Yeah, I'm gonna have to listen.
yes, you should.
Some of my lyrics are beware of sadness. It can hit you, it can hurt you, make you sore, and what is more, that is not what you are here for. And so I feel like that is something Macy should like tell herself, right? Like,
Yeah.
beware of the sadness that these visitors kind of bring to you and your memories, and it
Yeah.
can hit you, it can hurt you, but like that's not what you're here for. Like, keep focus on there.
Yep.
And then another lyric is watch out now, take care, beware of the soft shoe shufflers. And to me, that's like beware of the visitors. Like
Yes.
beware of the
Yeah.
visitors, beware of the bunnies, all of that.
Yep.
And the song itself is called like Beware of Darkness. And I feel like that's not only the darkness in, you know, with the lights off, but also like the darkness that can consume you and like just kind of be in you if you're like too focused on
Yeah.
what could go wrong.
Totally. But that was The Caretaker by Marcus
Yep.
Kliewer. And man, I do think he's one of my new autobi authors. I get so excited to see what he's coming out with. And he actually just announced there's a short story anthology coming out this year.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like
Sign me
maybe I feel like we have to do either a spooky season like mini episode or like something about it just because we love him so much.
Yes. Thank you all for turning the pages with us this week and following the rights. Be sure to follow us on TikTok, Instagram, Patreon, and join our newsletter to keep up with everything on the other side of the page.
Yes, and please, please, please drop a review and a 5-star rating of the podcast on your preferred platform and share us with your bookish besties.
Next week, we get to chat with the USA Today bestselling author Sheila Masterson about her book, The Poison Daughter.
We are so, so, so excited. Cannot wait for y'all to hear that episode. And that comes out on April 29th. So until then, forever and always,
keep reading with kindness.
bye, everyone.
Peace.